Here, before God and our high-speed internet connections, we must pledge to spend all the time we need to diving into the latest news articles, most complex Wikipedia pages, and hottest troll debates on Reddit and 4chan until we breathe, live, and ultimately understand the great nation of the United States of America. We must verse ourselves in their politics, the doublespeak of valuing every vote while giving power to an electoral college that devalues many voters across states. The championing of the mores of a peace-loving religion while also championing a man who mentally and somehow also physically represents all 7 of the deadly sins. And the gerrymandering of boundaries in ways that reminds one of a child who couldn't stay within the lines of a simple coloring book. We must study their films, their action-packed Independence Day romps, with global threats that somehow only affect America and now sometimes China. Their improv-heavy comedies, all produced or written by Judd Apatow or Adam Sandler, who are actually really good friends and lived together once upon a time. And their indie golden childs, meshing heartbreaking realities with a quirkiness and humor we all wish we felt at least sometimes in the drudgery of our painful lives. We must ponder on their military, that behemoth of a machine that is really good at bullying the world into wars and then not winning them, but still declaring victory. That money sink that can't spare a few bucks to keep its citizens back home healthy. That Uncle Sam and Captain America propagandist giant that encourages youths too young to drink that shooting a gun across the world at strangers who have never thought twice about them might be kind of a blast, figuratively and literally. And we must do this all while wondering how our relatively more peaceful, healthy, and politically stable nations can be as awesome as them. How we too can be the jocks in the schoolyard of planet Earth instead of the educated and emotionally stable dweebs that we are. For to understand America is to understand the great melting pots that are our own identities. 2 halves constantly at war with ourselves, one claiming fiscal responsibility, the other actually bringing down the national debt. One with a history of racism and sexism, the other with a maybe smaller history of racism and sexism, and they're getting better. One who is as old and good as their nation, the other who calls themselves the good old party. We all have these 2 sides, and while we'd like to tell one of them to shut up already, we must ever listen. For in listening we can understand, and in understanding we can overcome our fears and our doubts and be better as individuals. That is why we should watch news from a country halfway across the world. That is why we should read groan-worthy tweets from a stable genius. And that is why I implore you now, despite all the times they've given us dweeb nations wedgies, to try your best to understand the United States of America.